Hi. So yes, I'm catching up with my filming. I've got the same top on. Lovely actual. Sainsbury's supermarket have the most amazing clothes. Beautiful. It's beautiful and snoffed. Beautiful and soft. All snuggly. So I, from my 7 in 7 read along, I read this selection of short stories. Dead simple. Only £1. It's from the quick read selection. You can still get it from Waterstones because they have them all in there, the 2017 collection. 8 killer reads from 8 best-selling authors. So I've decided to read out The Funeral by Claire Mackintosh. Now I'm going to go and buy more books by Claire Mackintosh because I enjoyed her writing very much in this. Gives you a good tester. So here we go, The Funeral. The church is packed, standing room only. People will say afterwards. I think of the last funeral I attended where only the front 3 rows of the church were full. The undertaker had to shuffle into a pew to make up the numbers. Charlie would have been pleased with the turnout. I imagine him looking at the crowd, counting how many had come from the village and working out who's travelled the furthest to get here. He'd be touched by, and perhaps a little smug about, the gentle sobbing coming from Elaine and the girls. Everyone from the garage is here, their greasy overalls swapped for borrowed suits and shiny black ties. Charlie was a popular boss, never fussed about getting his hands dirty, even once he didn't need to. He'd give pep talks to the lads, telling them how he was once where they are and how he built up the business from nothing. And now look at me, he'd say. There's a noise from the back of the church. Everyone turns around. And for a second my breath catches. We were married in this church. Charlie waiting at the altar, turning round as I walked down the aisle, my dress a cloud of white silk. Now I'm the one waiting for Charlie, in a black skirt with a jacket hiding the way. The waistband digs into my flesh. There are sniffs and swallows as the coffin passes each row of mourners. I catch sight of Charlie's cousin, all the way from Canada, and old Mrs. Hobbs from a few doors down. They're both crying. When it draws alongside me, I feel everyone looking at me. So sad, they're thinking. I catch sight of Tom sitting across the aisle and instantly look away. Charlie's coffin is walnut with velvet lining. It was the most expensive in the catalogue, and even Elaine said it was too much. Your dad deserves the best, I told her, as she cried again. She's only 30, no age at all to lose your father, especially when your mother's long since gone. I'm your wicked stepmother, I used to say when she was tiny, and she'd hug me and tell me I wasn't wicked at all. I wasn't her mother though, we both knew that. They place him at the front of the church where the vicar is waiting. He bows his head, the silence is broken by grief so raw I can almost taste it. Everyone loved Charlie, everyone except me. I listened to the tributes with my head bowed, my head bowed as though in prayer. I'm not praying though. I'm looking at my good black shoes and wondering if it's worth getting new soles for them. I'm wondering how many people might come back to the house for the wake and hoping I've organised enough sandwiches. I'm wondering then, when would be too soon to clear the wardrobe of Charlie's clothes? I'm wondering if anyone will ever find out what I've done. When we stand to sing, Tom is looking at me. I can feel it. I turn a little so I can see him. His face is solemn and his eyes bright with the start of tears. He knew Charlie for a long time, far longer than I've been on the scene. Theirs was an odd relationship, the self-made mechanic and the posh doctor, but it worked. Elaine wanted a burial, but I told her Charlie had asked to be cremated. The truth is it was me who wanted the cremation. Charlie never said. He refused to accept the truth even when it was staring him in the face. Think I'm feeling a bit better today, he said, although his cheeks were grey and his breath snatched. You're dying, I thought to myself. Tom came to the house and I left the room to let them talk, knowing it would be the last time they did. An hour later, he closed the bedroom door and set down his doctor's bag in the hall. It won't be much longer. I'm just going to skip forward a bit, so I'm not going to, it's too long to read the whole thing. takes time to steal £100,000. 10 years to be precise. At first I wasn't even sure why I was taking it, what I was going to do with it. I just wanted it. If he wasn't going to leave me the house, he owed me this much at least. £200 a week, more or less, stashed in a pillowcase at the back of the airing cupboard. Enough to leave, I thought, but I'd never been on my own before. I wasn't sure I knew how. The day Tom kissed me, everything changed. Oh, I'm so sorry. That should never have happened. He looked scared. Am I that bad a kisser? I said. He laughed, relaxed a little, then closed his eyes like he was in pain. Charlie's been a good friend to me. We were standing in the kitchen. Charlie was at work and Tom had dropped round to pick something up. We both felt it, that crackle in the air like electricity. The kiss was everything I'd ever wanted. We can't do this, Tom said. I didn't answer, and a second later I was in his arms again. He laughed when I admitted I had almost £100,000 hidden in the airing cupboard. Wish I had. I won't even got an airing cupboard. Do you know how much interest you could be earning on that? Not that much as it turned out, but I invested it anyway. The money became my escape fund. My reward for a marriage I hadn't enjoyed. A prize to make up for a house that would never be mine. I watched the total rise like a child gazing at baking cakes. We knew the current setup had to change. Me with Charlie, Tom with a wife and 3 kids. It wasn't making us happy. We knew where we wanted to end up. A cottage by the sea. Just Tom, me and perhaps a dog or 2. We just didn't know how we would get there. The answer came when we were lying in bed one afternoon in a travel lodge in the outskirts of town. There's a drug, Tom said casually, as though we were chatting about the weather, that has no taste when it's crushed up and mixed with food. My pulse quickened. I was lying with my head on Tom's chest and I didn't move, not trusting myself to make eye contact with him. What effect does it have? It's fatal, Tom said. With the right dose, a sudden overdose or something slower given over a period of weeks. We fell silent, each deep in thought. A post-mortem, I started. Well, that's the interesting thing, he said. If a GP has seen the patient in the 14 days prior to death and can confidently declare the cause of death, there isn't a post-mortem. I see, I said. And so a plan was made. Innocent white pills poured into a bottle that held sleeping tablets. The label said 2 to be taken before bed. 2 would be too many, Tom said. Instead, I crushed a single pill into powder, then scooped a quarter into Charlie's tea. Simple, effective. I look at the house and see that people are leaving. You should go, I tell Tom. He squeezes my hand. I hate to leave you. I want so much to be held. Instead, he looks at me and very gently strokes the back of my hand with his thumb. 6 months, he says, perhaps less than 6 months. Then we'll never be apart again. He stands and walks towards the house, turning to give me one last look before he goes. I catch sight of him briefly through the kitchen window, saying goodbye to Elaine, who is once again weeping into the dishwasher. I feel another flash of anger. That girl needs to pull herself together. I sigh and walk back into the house. The last of the guests are leaving and I shake hands and accept, hugs and nod and smile until they're all gone. Would you mind if I go and lie down? I say to Elaine. I'm feeling tired out. Of course not, I'll bring you some tea. I feel a prick of guilt. He would have died anyway, I remind myself. I've just brought things forward a bit. Is everything okay? It's important to get rest, Elaine says. It's been a difficult day for you. It seems an odd thing to say and a sense of alarm creeps over me. Did you... I start, but my lips feel like rubber and a thick fog begins to descend. Get some sleep, Sarah. We'll talk in the morning. She stands up, turning to pull the covers over me. My eyelids are drooping, my hands like lead weights. At the door she dims the light. Don't be cross with me, will you? I know you hate taking tablets, but you look so tired. And I'm so worried about you. She pulls the door until it's almost closed. her face in the shadow of the overhead light. I found some sleeping tablets in the bathroom cabinet and I popped a couple in your tea to help you sleep. I followed the instructions on the bottle. I try to speak, but she shushes me and closes the door, and the narrow beam of light shrinks still further before it disappears altogether. Ooh. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Very much want you to go and look to see what more that Claire Mackintosh has. I'm certainly going to do. Loved that. See you later then. Bye for now.